Richard Hooper and this is SatTV Week. I'm here at Communicasia 2012 where I'm pleased to be joined by Bruce Bednarski of XipLink. Bruce, we've spoken many times before. XipLink products are being incorporated now by a lot of companies locally and globally. Tell me why.
Thank you for that recognition and thanks for having me here today. It's been a couple of years since we actually were in one of these interviews, so a lot has progressed over the 2 years. I think it was when it was back at the other location, the older convention center, so this is much more convenient. Yes, in the 2 years, I mean, our distribution has increased significantly. We are finding ourselves in some big networks right now, you know, hundreds of nodes, and so we're really hitting stride with our technology, and I think it's resonating well. And as I come to this show and we look around at perhaps what the themes are, it's you know, in my opinion, a lot of this is about spectral efficiency. Every one of the vendors out here has a story to tell relative to DVB S2 with ACM, this evolving S2.5 S3 feature that's now being promoted, and the KA band initiatives. And if we look across all these different themes, all these different topics, it's all about bandwidth efficiency at the spectrum level. And what you know, what our position is, and what we add further value is the end customer realizes that newer technology gets them you know, more bits per hertz, lowers their bandwidth cost. What are they going to do about reducing the amount of data that traverses these networks? Right? So all of the large VSAT vendors are focused on spectral. We focus on features called wireless link optimization, and that is a stable of different features that performs, that focuses on TCP/IP, focuses on compression, header compression, acceleration, several different functions put together, which at the end of the day focuses on reducing the amount of TCP/IP traffic going across these networks. So it's a layered on additional benefit that reduces the bandwidth requirements and improves performance for the end customers.
So is the Asian region different from other ones you operate in?
It is, and I think one of the reasons is they might be a little more parsimonious when it comes to cost. Some of the larger KA band offerings were here, so this concept of what can we do to get more bits across, and then what can we do to get more data and more efficient, that has worked out quite well. So being well received here, yes.
So what are the trends you're seeing? I mean, not just regionally, but globally.
Yes, so I think the trends that we're seeing is, you know, what can we do in these different verticals that, you know, are pretty much dominated by the VSAT industry, and these are you know, maritimes and military, right? Service providers and aeronautical. Those to us are the big verticals that we're going after. The trending is just really understanding how to efficiently package these solutions in a capital efficient format and manner, which allows them to achieve a return on investment quickly. I think we're all aware of some of the global issues surrounding the economy, so it's difficult to sell these days. But if you go in and you propose you know, an offering that does reduce their cost, you can show them an ROI in a matter of months, as opposed to, let's say, you know, a year or two. You have a very strong chance of winning the business. And the reason why is because you're addressing two different types of entities within an organization. You're you know, presenting the business case to the CFO, right, the executive level, and on the operational perspective, a format that will reduce this bandwidth and improve the end customer performance. And so it resonates on both. So it's an opportunity to sell on both sides of the aisles, if you might say.
So for a company like XipLink, how do you stay ahead of the curve with your products?
Yeah, so I'll give you a perfect example. We last had an interview 2 years ago, and I think that was the year that we announced one of our solutions, the XipLink Hub Optimizer. In that very short 2-year period, we become the leading one-arm optimizer in the industry, and we are recognized as such at by the World Teleport Association. We were Product of the Year, so we're very proud of that. We're finding that the XHO, being a one-armed optimizer, I should explain what that does. It's a single device, Richard, that a service provider can place in their teleport. There's no requirement for any software, any hardware at the remote location. yet it sits there in a mode and it reduces the traffic flow of people who have a requirement to go out to the internet. You were lamenting earlier about your internet connectivity at the show today, right? And our box will sit there. The internet's a very unusual thing. It's an asymmetrical connection. You send out a small request, and then a whole bunch of stuff comes back at you, right? With your video, it's kind of transposed a little bit. But so someone surfing the net sends out that small request, a lot of bandwidth back. We sit there and we do some optimizations, the XipLink Hub Optimizer. We reduce both gzip and JPEG transcoding schemes in real time. And we're taking, we're seeing 20 to 25% reduction of bandwidth on the outbound. And the outbound is key in this industry because asymmetrical networks, you have a large outbound, the returning channel back to these remote locations. And if you're reducing 20% of bandwidth on a 100 megahertz network, right? That's 20 megahertz a month at $3,000 a month, let's say on average. Yeah. You can see how you can achieve a ROI very quickly. So I think that's why the XHO won the Product of the Year and why it's achieved that leading position in the industry.
So looking at the next 12 months, where is XipLink going?
So I think that we continue to be very versatile in our approach to the market. Let me take the investment in that one product, the XHO solution, right? A piece of hardware. The service provider has made that investment to service their internet access customers. Well, service providers have more than one genre of accounts, one group of accounts. They might have also an enterprise customer or internet service cafe where you have a lot of computers hitting this one access point and then being backhauled over satellite. That has dramatically different requirements. And with that single investment that they've made in our XHO at the teleport, they can now go out and with our appliances, put a very small, cost-effective appliance at the remote location that talks to this investment they've already made, and now they can start exercising two-way compression, right? Compression of data. They can invoke caching now, which actually takes things completely off the line going back and forth. And they can exercise features such as XipLink Real-Time. XipLink Real-Time, or XRT as we call it, is another feature that benefits voice users going over satellite. And voice continues to grow in enterprise, right? The things like Skype and just getting on your headset from, let's say, your hotel room or internet cafe, making voice calls. Voice calls has a lot of packet overhead on it. About 40% of the actual data going through there, the voice call, is to support the redundant packet headers. We'll sit there with our XRT. We'll remove those packet headers. We'll place them into a larger envelope, send them along, and we reduce the size required for the bandwidth requirements for transporting the voice calls by up to 50%. So if you start layering these together, our XHO savings of 20%, our two-way maybe 20 to 30%, and then reducing things such as XRT, the voice requirements, you can see that we're spinning a lot of data off of the bandwidth over there. So I think the versatility, the modular approach that we're taking is working well, and we'll just need to continue to write to these applications to assist these different verticals that we're approaching in the marketplace.
Well, these are exciting times, and I look forward to speaking to you next year.
Yeah, we'll do it next year, not in 2 years, right?
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it.